Howdy folks. Well, we're staring at a chair now instead of a sofa. So moving up in the world. I'm not actually doing an Ashen's parody this time around. I want to do more of a straight up, video similar to the stuff that I usually do on here. But anyways, I just didn't feel like dragging out the table again or something like that. So I figured let's keep it simple. Plus I've been doing enough stuff with enough Ashen's parodies. Why not do something like this as well? Anyways, so we're looking at this chair because my new microphone came in. It's going to be, I think it's going to end up being eventually my new backup mic because I was able to finally get an RMA for the Blue Yeti. But I'd like to slowly but surely retire the Blue Yeti and only use it with like my netbook and stuff to cut down on the chances of breaking the USB port again. It was in warranty this time. Next time it won't be, so next time it will be a mod project, but I still think it's going to be my first and last Blue microphone based on the service experience that I had with Blue trying to get an RMA open for that thing in the first place. Anyways, I need a box to send that microphone back to them in, and I figured why not as the ultimate sign of, hey, haha, it's too bad Blue, I'm not using your stuff anymore. I figured why not use the box that the new backup mic came in order to send the Blue Yeti back. It'll have the stuffing and everything. So here we are, and I'm tempted to do like this is work and just go shh and take the top off, but instead we're going to keep things very simple and just split the tape because I actually need to reuse this box. So the e-tailer that I'm getting all this from is a musician's friend. Get that out of the way. The e-tailer that I ordered this from is Musician's Friend. I haven't ordered anything from them in a really long time because I used to order music supplies from them and I haven't really needed music supplies. I've been getting more tech type stuff since then, but they do have a bit of crossover with the world of audio, and sadly they take some lessons from other bad e-tailers as well, and they do this, which I don't like. What's the point of having packing material if you're not actually going to pack the material in it? You're just going to toss stuff in the bottom. So if, say, the UPS folks play kickball with it in the warehouse or the fulfillment or the delivery hub, then that happens. Anyways, what we're looking at here is a Behringer XM8500, which is basically the well, we know the Shure SM58 is pretty much the industry standard for microphones. The industry standard for microphones that aren't the Shure SM58 is this Behringer. So, Ultra Voice XM8500 dynamic vocal cardioid mic, blah blah blah. If folks don't have an XM5800, they don't have an SM58, they have an XM8500 basically. I'm going to cable to go from XLR to mini, so it'll work with the preamp on my microphone. Microphone windscreen, Shure of course, so at least that'll be Shure. Then the heaviest part of it, the stand, which should fit similar to how my Blue Yeti stand does when I use it with the Tuxedo hookup. But right now Tuxedo does not have a hookup. Tuxedo does not currently have a hookup for a dynamic mic. I have to hook that all back up. And, well, let's just see how well this works, especially compared to that old Radio Shack piece of junk. Alright, the tripod's a little lower now. Now we really are getting Ashen style, but I might like to remind everybody we are using a chair instead of a sofa. So anyways, let's see here. Ultra Voice XM8500, little slipcase, and then inside is this little lunchbox thingy, and then inside that, okay, now I can sort of forgive the lack of packing material. Microphone clip. And then this thing's got quite a bit of weight to it. It's not an SM58, but from what I've been reading, pretty much folks who don't have an SM58 have an XM8500. This also represents my first real microphone that doesn't have a permanently attached cable. Yeah, so let's check out this Stage Series lifetime warranty, blah blah blah, etc. Whatever. It's XLR to mini, and it commits the cardinal sin of using a zip tie here. So now I have to go dig for some scissors in order to continue the video. Okay, we're all set, ready to cut this thing. Now, one public service announcement I'd like to make regarding the use of zip ties on cables. Never ever use zip ties to keep cables together. Use proper cable ties, because what do you have when you use a zip tie? You have hard plastic and insulation. What most people do, fortunately the folks at Behringer didn't, or not Behringer, the folks who made this cable didn't. What the people usually do is they zip tie it so tight that, first of which, it's really hard to cut off if you ever need to access everything without cutting into the insulation, and secondly, from just getting moved around, a hard piece of plastic against soft insulation can actually start cutting through the insulation. So now I'm going to do this off camera so I don't cut my brand new cable from these folks, and hit the tripod. Oh well. Alright, we're all set. Plus, we got ourselves pretty much a 6-foot cable here. This goes into here. There we go. I actually used to have a friend a long time ago whose father was a DJ, and he'd take some of his dad's old DJ stuff, and he'd take his dad's old DJ stuff and the crappier microphones or something like that. He'd go out into the barn and like blast on his guitar and sing and stuff like that. Yeah, his family lived on a cow farm, so he'd be out there pretending to be a rock star in front of a bunch of beef cattle. Hey, the cows love music. So, I don't know whatever happened to the guy, but hey, XM8500, we shall know that no more once we get the windscreen over this thing. I actually remember some perverted DJs talking about, oh, I get my condom on the microphone. Okay, one noticeable feature that's missing. No on-off switch, so that's the only real downgrade. That's the only real downgrade from from the Radio Shack piece of junk, but I could always just use like my software mixer to turn this thing on and off. But eventually this is just going to be a backup mic anyways. I don't imagine the sound quality is going to be as good as an SM58 or the Blue Yeti, but it'd be good to not have to have my quality go to crap whenever my main microphone isn't working right. So okay, enough staring at this thing. Now that we've got the windscreen on, let's go do a comparison of recordings between this and the Radio Shack piece of junk that it's replacing. The mic stand, sadly, is a disappointment because the microphone clip that came with the Behringer does not fit this stand. Hopefully the clip that I have upstairs with my other stand will work on a thing this big.
Okay, switching back into radio style. Doing audio and things like that, but here is what we have in the battle of the microphones. Here's what we have it to compare to. We have the old Radio Shack piece of junk, and let's switch over to the Behringer and see what kind of improvements we get in terms of sound quality. And here we are live with the Behringer XM8500 to see if there's any differences in the sound quality between the two. Of course, it does look kind of weird. It's a black microphone with a gray microphone windscreen because I'm using a Shure windscreen for this versus the Radio Shack garbage that I used with the Radio Shack garbage mic. So garbage in, garbage out, and things like that. And I'm going to compare this, of course, to the Blue Yeti and see what the difference is. Should I even bother ever using the Yeti again for anything that involves my main desktops? Because my desktops actually have the inputs to be able to support proper microphones like this as well, instead of having to use something through USB. USB would be more for on the go with the netbook and things along those lines and stuff like that. Slight drop in sensitivity compared to the previous microphone, but just a slight drop. And the sensitivity doesn't come from the mic, it comes from the computer, because I have the sound card, the X-Fi cards in this machine and Tuxedo set to condenser mode, so they're way more sensitive than they should be, because they need to be able to handle input from a condenser mic that normally requires a phantom power mixer and stuff like that. Google that stuff if you don't know what any of it is. But here we are with the Behringer XM8500. The only way to improve from here is to get a Shure SM58, the gold standard for this type of stuff. And I imagine this microphone is the standard for industry knockoffs. So enough of the radio style stuff, although I did notice that I will not be able to use the stand that I got over at Piano because it transmits noise. It transmits the vibrations of the computer a lot more easily than the tripod style stand that I've been using. Although the microphone clip from the tripod style stand did fit the new the new stand. So I gotta get a new microphone clip in order to not have to constantly switch the clip on this between the tripod stand and the other stand. Although I don't anticipate needing to do radio style stuff, flipping back and forth between these two computers, especially when all I ever do is console footage over here anyway. So eventually I'll get this taken care of, but for now, here's what the Behringer sounds like. And the only way to improve things any further is to get an SM58.
Just had listened to what I recorded with this, and I really do think that actually I'll probably end up using this for computer recording directly, because these standardized microphones are a lot more usable, or a lot more flexible in terms of what you use them for. But here's the final setup over here. I didn't get to use the stand because of its hard bottom. It transmits noise from whatever's underneath it, so that would be more of something I'd use with my main setup, where I got a special setup going to try and cut down on vibration noise. Otherwise, this little three-legged stand thing is actually proven to be better than something that actually costs more. And that's probably why these itty-bitty stands are sold out on Musician's Friend right now. I used to shop at Musician's Friend a lot back in the day when I was buying more music stuff, like drumsticks and cymbals and stuff, and things for my keyboard, back when I was playing music on a more regular basis. And shoot, I forgot to change the white balance on this, so it's making my place look really, really yellow, especially with the computer monitor going with Audacity and all that other stuff. But I'd say it sounds pretty decent, although it sounds decent, of course, because I'm doing this with an XFi old-school sound card with the front panel and the quarter-inch inputs for microphones, guitars, etc., with the adjustable gain. I could probably even use a condenser mic too if I really wanted to, but we'll just stick with this for now. This will eventually be my backup mic at some point, maybe to an SM58 or something along those lines. And I'll save the computery USB gimmick mics like the Yeti for when I don't have good sound equipment, like if I'm stuck using my netbook or something. Maybe that'll help the USB jack last longer. Maybe I should just get a blue snowball and call it a day. But I've spent enough on microphones over the last 2 years to have them not last, so I'm not all that anxious to test this too much. Headset-wise, in case anyone's thrown off by the headset, yeah, this is a headset mic, Sennheiser headset, but the microphone broke on this thing, so I only use the headphone part of it now. And as far as this Optimus goes, back to the closet with it. It was great for my college radio days and stuff like that, but it sounds a little, I don't know, I guess the sound in it isn't as clear. It's a little muddy and synthetic, kind of like a cheap mic and stuff like that. But so it looks like the Behringer XM8500 works quite well as a knockoff to the SM58. It's pretty much the king of SM58 knockoffs. I mean, look at the name, XM8500. Gee, I wonder. I was tossing around the idea of getting the PG58 from Shure, but from everything I've read about the PG series, it's basically like the Kitty Karaoke mic version of the SM series. So maybe if my situation ever changes and I actually have a decent job again, I'll get an SM58, and I'll be able to afford things like SM58s and condenser mics and all that other fun stuff. But for now, we'll stick with this budget thing. Monoprice.com also has a dynamic mic that's selling out all over the place, that's supposed to be very similar to this one in terms of trying to be like an SM58, and it's only $13. I'll have to check that out. But later, of course. For now, I'm just glad to be back in business with this whole thing, and till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.